Hello everyone, my name is Max. I'm sitting here, drinking whiskey, and I realize that my revenge was so perfect that it's even scary to me. But let's start from the beginning. Let's call my wife Alice. We lived with Alice for 8 years. Over the last couple of years, the passion had faded, and we were more like partners than lovers. I thought it was normal. I worked, made plans for the future, tried to revive the relationship. She said everything was fine. Turned out she felt good in someone else's arms. Her lover's name is John, the son of the local luxury car dealership tycoon. That guy was flaunting cars bought with daddy's money. Cars I couldn't afford in a lifetime. Once I worked from home. Alice left for a girls' night, which I later realized was a night with John at an expensive hotel. She always used her MacBook, and that day she took mine and left hers at home. She had an iMessage notification. The screen lit up, and I saw a message. Waiting, hurry up, I missed you. It was a gut punch. I didn't make a scene. I kept a cool head, but inside I was boiling. I knew her password, her mother's birthday, logged into her laptop, and within minutes I found everything. Their messages? Smug, self-satisfied, photos in bed taken while I was on a business trip, their pictures together in expensive restaurants. But the main thing, I found her diary. She kept it in the Notes app. And it wasn't a diary of tender love, but a cynical business plan. She described in detail how John was completely under her control, how she would hint at marriage, get a 3-carat diamond ring out of him, and after the wedding, start transferring money to her own accounts. The juiciest quote, "Max, that is me, is a nice guy, but with him, I'd have to grind for another 20 years to afford everything I want. With John, I'll get it within a month. And then, who knows, maybe his old man will kick the bucket, and John and I will be swimming in money." I was sitting there trembling. It wasn't out of simple anger, but from a cold, concentrated fury. Should I yell? Kick her out? File for divorce? No, that would have been a present to her. She'd have just moved in with that wealthy boyfriend of hers right away and begun her mercenary little plan. No, that's not the way. I acted like a hacker. I made full copies of all her chat logs from her diary. Without saying a word, I became the perfect husband. I said that I had realized how much we had grown apart, that I loved her and that I wanted to fix everything. Of course, she said that she also wanted to work on the relationship, while she herself continued to see John. I began my own investigation. I learned everything there was to know about John, and most importantly, I uncovered everything about his father. He was harsh and pragmatic, with a deep hatred for parasites and those who coveted his wealth. His Achilles heel was his son. He adored him, even while recognizing his weaknesses. And then I had a plan. Using a fake Instagram account, I reached out to John's father. I avoided the tone of an angry husband and instead presented myself as a worried citizen. I told him there was information concerning a young woman who was twisting his son around her finger and had a concrete plan to get her hands on the family's money. Naturally, he ignored it. Then I took a steeper step. I found out that he is an avid hunter and a member of an exclusive club. It took a lot of hard work, but I finally tracked down a member of that club. I paid him a sizable sum, my entire vacation fund, to arrange a chance introduction to John's father during one of their hunting trips. I presented myself to him as Max, just a modest IT specialist with a passion for hunting, though I had to take a quick crash course to pull that off. I was simple with him. I didn't push conversations about business. We talked about weapons and nature. He took a liking to me as a simple, normal guy. After a couple of such accidental meetings, he himself asked, "Listen, Max, what was that story with that girl?" "I'm curious." I pretended to be embarrassed. I said that I might be mistaken, but, "Well, here, read this if you're interested." And I sent to his email only excerpts from her diary. The parts where she was cynically planning the divorce, alimony, and manipulations with his son. No emotions, just the facts in her own handwriting. I added, "I don't know who this John guy is. Maybe he's not your son, and I'm not asking you to do anything. It's just that, as a father, I would want to know who is around my child." The effect was nuclear. He didn't answer me at all. But a week later, My informant from the club reported there was a huge scene at their home. The father showed John a printed copy of the diary entry. John himself, who was genuinely in love with her, didn't believe anything his father was saying, and they had a massive argument. But John's father remained inflexible. To him, the evidence was clear-cut and undeniable. He presented his son with an ultimatum: break off all contact with that, which immediately, or be cut off from everything. His credit cards, his cars, his apartment, and his job in the family business. John, who had never worked a day in his life and had no idea what it meant to live without his father's money, broke. He chose the money. That same evening, Alice, who was already mentally trying on diamonds, received a message from John that said, "It's over. My father found out everything. Goodbye." She came home from work very upset. I asked what happened, but she didn't say anything. Then I smirked and asked,
"Did John leave you?"
She burst into tears, hugged me, and told me that she had been sleeping with him for a long time. Immediately after that, she started making excuses and saying that she had made a terrible mistake, that she loves only me, that this John is nothing compared to me. I looked at her and said, perfectly calmly, "I know. I've known since the day you left your diary open, and I personally delivered it to John's father. I hope the diamond ring was worth it." Her face at that moment was priceless. It was a mixture of horror, hatred, and the complete collapse of her entire universe. She was left with nothing. Her plan had collapsed because of her own stupidity and cynicism. Now we are in the process of divorce. She is trying to challenge the prenuptial agreement, which we signed a couple of years ago, and it was very much in my favor. Last weekend, I accidentally ran into John's father at a bar. He bought me a whiskey, slapped me on the shoulder, and said, "Thanks, Max. You got my idiot out of a huge mess." I'm really glad that such a shitty situation ended in my favor. Subscribe, like, and write comments.